Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 14th, 2023. Saker, the manufacturer or the seller of one of the mini chainsaws that I've been using for a few months now, several months now, which has been working very well, holding up very well. They contacted me again and said, geez, they have another product they wanted to send me in review, and this is their Saker Cordless Hedge Trimmer and Grass Shear. So I got this a few days ago. The weather hasn't been great, so I haven't had the opportunity to really check it out yet. So what I'm going to do now is switch the camera from where it is looking at me, and we'll open up the box and see what it looks like. If the wind isn't too bad, I'll go ahead and trim some of the very thick, heavy weeds that we've got out there, and this will be basically just my first impressions of this tool. I like to use the tools for at least put in at least 8 hours before, or 10 hours on the tool itself, before giving you an evaluation, and then doing a 6 and 12 month update on the equipment that I use. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera around now and we'll have a look. Okay, here's the package. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the plastic waterproof housing off of it. And something is bang there. So it's a cordless hedge trimmer and grass shear, intended for cutting and trimming thin shoots on hedges, bushes, and ornamental shrubs, as well as for cutting small sections of lawn. Cordless hedge trimmer, satisfaction guarantee, blah blah blah. www.smartsaker.com. Their email is customer@smartsaker.com, and they've got a Facebook page there as well. So product selling point, 2-in-1, includes 2 types of heads for lawn shear and hedge trimmers. Quick switch design for easy head replacement and hedge trimmer. The hedge trimmer is suitable for landscape shrub trimming, while the lawn trimmer is especially suitable for stone paths, corners, and other places where ordinary lawn mowers can't hit. So I guess trimming around. It's handheld, lightweight, 2.2 pounds, 1 kilogram. Safety and reliable. Switch lock to prevent accidental activation, to protect your family. Machine with overheat protection, overcharge, over discharge protection, stable and reliable charging and running performance. The blades are made out of SK5 steel, which is a high quality carbon steel with high hardness, and the laser cutting process makes the blades very sharp and durable. Okay, looks like there's all right, so we got a manual here. We got a charging cable. We've got a battery. So this is a 20 volt, 1.5 amp hour battery. Does it have an LED? Yes. All right, it looks like it's fully charged when it arrives. This is where you put the charging cable for it to go into the wall and charge. And we don't need to do that now. Okay, it comes with the grass head, I guess. This will probably be the one that I use for the weeds. So my first impression right off the bat is I kind of like this. This is the interchangeable head. I like that. It feels like a pretty firm plastic. Let's see, so rotate. Oh, I like this. So you can rotate the different angles, so if you're reaching down. So it's a 15-degree change of angle for approach, so you're not so uncomfortable. And this is a safety switch for charging it. Let's see the other. And here's the hedge trimmer Both of them have guards. I like that. Yeah, they do feel nice and sharp. So I do have another hedge trimmer, an Ego one, which is a pretty big one, which I love, and I'll do a review on that at some point. But one thing I really do like about this, I'm sorry, put that back on. Well, I'll actually try this first. I like that this is small and portable. Okay, now. You don't want to get your fingers in there. Okay, let's take this off. And just have to get those teeth aligned, I guess. There we go. Locked in nicely. So that seems pretty neat. Okay. So there's no case for this, but I gotta say that this, I like that it's really portable. I like the 1.5 amp hour is probably adequate. I like that they have the LED lights on the battery to tell you the state of charge before you run out with it. We'll see how well these replaceable heads hold up. But I think what I'll do is I think I'll run out right now and take a look. Actually, I'll disconnect this for now for transporting it. And I don't know that the audio will work out back right now. It's pretty windy out there. Maybe it'll calm down and we'll get lucky. I think I'll just try this here for a few minutes out there out back. So I'm out here in the almond forest, which I haven't worked in this season at all, other than to mow around. I just got done mowing yesterday down here, and the grass was ungodly tall. But as you can see around the almond trees, so here's an almond tree, another one there, and then I have blueberry bushes in between. So there's a blueberry bush hidden underneath this mugwort, which is really taking off like crazy. There's another blueberry bush hidden underneath here as well, but they aren't getting the sun at all. And so I want to modify this whole area quite a bit. The other thing is there are my cages to protect these almond trees from deer rub, and those are the same as my tomato cages. So they're made out of concrete reinforcing mesh, and I've got rebar down in there. Now with my other hedge trimmers, I don't want to come in here and just start mowing along when I'm getting close to a piece of 1/2-inch rebar, like right here, or the wire of the cages here. So it'd be real handy to have something really small and handy where I can get in there in nice tight spots if this can handle it. So I think I'll just give this a bit of a go and see if it'll actually cut through some of this stuff. Well, it doesn't like the big thick stuff. All right, so this is really meant for the grasses. So we'll get the small hedge trimmer. And the spots for them is pretty small. So, you know, I'm sure this would handle much smaller stuff. So when we get out to the end out here, actually, I'll turn the camera so you can, sorry about that. So if it's thinner stuff like this, go through that easy. See, the opening here isn't big enough for these ones to go in here. So it isn't going to work for this, unfortunately. Which was I really hoping it would do. Smaller ones, it does work with the smaller ones. So if you don't let it go so long, there's a good possibility things will work out. So this is blueberry bush right here. Well, it isn't going to do a good job right here for this heavier stuff. Now this, it'll probably be fine. So that did work here. Well, I think I'll run up to where the barberry is. That's much smaller diameter material. And certainly, I think it'll work fine with our ornamental grasses. Well, here's another thing. The multiflora rose. Let's see how well this works. So it just has to be small enough that it'll actually fit in. All right, let's see with some of these grasses here. So when I'm just cutting the grasses, it does great cutting right off over there. Let's try with some of these weeds here. So when we get to this larger weeds, they just aren't doing it. And unfortunately, there's weeds in and amongst all of my grasses here. But if you've got a really well manicured system, but as you can see, I've got big weeds that are stuck in between these. So it cuts through the grasses, the ornamental grasses, with relative ease. But when I have so it's just too big for the big berry plants to be able to go through those canes. So I could see where this, in the nursery, with our ornamental grasses and small caliper plants that we want to go ahead and do some pruning with, I could see where this would work really well. Also, when we're potting up and dividing grasses, I could see where this will work very well. I'm going to switch the head and just see how it works with some of these grasses, the other head. I got another ornamental grass over here. No, but I have smaller diameter weeds here, so. Now that's working great. So even though it's a relatively small caliber tree trunk coming up here, it's, you know, 3/16 of an inch. Oh, it did go through it. So it goes through these weeds pretty darn well. See with a golden rod, see how it does here. So it is working, it's going right through them with ease. So material like this, a golden rod, that's really easy to go through these. Let's see if I wanted to prune some of this too. So if it's relatively new growth and it's small enough diameter, it will cut through the various materials. The goldenrod, no problem, it cuts right through that. Not quite as impressed as I am with their mini chainsaw. And I think their pole saw is going to be great as well. It is going to be just like the mini chainsaw. This, on our application, on our property, I don't see it being useful for doing the big stuff that I've got to do. I do love the idea that this is small and handy and it's easy. I'd get a little case for it and just put it with my small pruners and chainsaws, so as I'm moving around the property I can use it. I think this will be valuable in the nursery, so using it in the nursery, I think that this can work if it holds up. There is a little bit of play between the head, the motor, and the handle and battery part there, but you know, that's entirely acceptable given that the angle. And I don't know how much I'd use this, but maybe this would work great working around the pots in the nursery. So right now, the one thing, I know the wind's kicking up, the one thing I could think about that it potentially be very valuable is when we're transplanting plants in the nursery. And I'll just have to try that. That's fall and usually early spring. So I'm not sure that I could recommend it for the homesteading, the big stuff, when you let things go like I let them go. Will this be great for it? Probably not. Let's see how it does over here with some of the grapevine material. Goldenrod there. Well, it is going right through the grapevine with relative ease. That's nice. Yeah, that's really handy. So as long as I don't hit the tree of the branch of the of the almond tree, it's okay. So here's some grapevine here coming up. Goes through that grapevine pretty darn well. Even the larger diameter grapevine it goes through. This darn mugwort, we have it all over the place around here. So if it's smaller diameter, it does work. But once we get to this size, it does have a hard time. It will go through it. So it doesn't really like the big stuff. Small stuff, if I got into this earlier in the season, when this stuff was coming up like this here, I cut right through that with ease. But I'm not able to stay up on top of things when I let them get out of hand like this. So it will cut through the multiflora rose pretty well. It'll cut through the mugwort when it's smaller caliper, when it isn't gotten to be over 7 foot, 8 foot tall. It does go easily through the goldenrod. That's nice. It goes through small diameter grapevine, and it goes through the ornamental grasses pretty darn well. So that's probably what who they're marketing is for the small gardener. And like I say, this might be handy in the nursery. So okay, so here's my honest first impressions with the Saker cordless hedge trimmer and grass shear. Probably for most of the uses that I have here on our property, out here in the forest and working with all of our orchard areas, since I let it go so long, it won't be as handy out here. If I was staying on top of things, probably it would work out better. I could see that this will help in the nursery area, and I think it would be helpful for those people who have, you know, a small backyard garden and they want to go out and do the weeding around, you know, get things under control, get the bushes under control. I think it could be very, very handy. I love that it's small and portable. That part of it is fantastic. I like that a lot. I wish that the spacing between the shear blades here was a little bit wider, so it could take more, and maybe a little more, a more powerful motor with it as well. It'd be great if it came with a case, and of course, you know, the price that they're selling these for, it's so inexpensive that that would really drive the cost up quite a bit. So it's probably not the ideal tool for our property. The mini chainsaw, I think, really is a very, very handy tool. These tools are being made to compete with the big manufacturers coming out with their cordless power tools, and they've got to keep costs so that they can maintain adequate margins. So they have to sell them pretty inexpensively, but the concepts are really good. I like the idea of the 15-degree angle. I like the idea that with their batteries now, they're putting LED lights on them. I really like that it's compact and interchangeable heads. I'm going to keep trying with this and see how things work out. I'm sorry about the winds out here today. But can I highly recommend it for someone who lets things go like I do here for the big stuff, the heavy duty stuff? No. If you're someone who's really out there in the garden once a week, doing the necessary trimming and pruning and getting into the corners to cut the grasses down so that your lawnmower can't get to with the other trimmer head, I think this would be a great tool for folks like that. I really like a little more power. I like the ability to get larger material into the cutting blades. I love that it's portable. and I'm just going to be redundant with anything else I say at this point. So those are my initial thoughts, and as always, I'm always going to give you what I honestly think. My opinion certainly will get modified as I use this over time, and I'll create another update in the future. But those are my initial thoughts. For my purposes here, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars. For someone else who doesn't let things go like we have here, it could easily be a 4-star tool. So those are my thoughts at this point. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I will see if I can find a link for this so you can see it, and I'll put a link to the Saker website as well, so you can look at the rest of their stuff. A lot of their stuff really looks intriguing to me on their website. I'm very interested in trying more of their tools and all. So that's it for today's video. I hope you find it of value. Thanks so much for watching. Have a safe and productive day. Bye-bye now.